Hi guys, it's Stephen here. Today I'm going to be talking about 12 things that can harm your credit score with the major credit reporting agencies. Because what impacts your credit score is often misunderstood because of how little it's talked about. But what can harm your credit is one of the most important factors of personal finance that everyone needs to know about. The factors are relatively simple to understand once you know about them. But taking on board this information will then enable you to be able to positively impact your credit score now and in the future. This way you can avoid impacting your credit score at the time when you need it to be the best it can be. So if in the future you might want to get a loan to buy a car, buy a house, or even start up a business, or even buy a buy-to-let investment property, you're going to need a good credit score, and be aware of the 12 things that can harm your credit score. In the UK and the USA, there are 3 main credit reporting agencies, and these are Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. Each of them scores differently, but what impacts that score is the same thing across all of them. This is how their scoring system scores you between fair and excellent as a comparison. We want to be aiming for at least a good score, and we want to be staying away from those scores below fair, which are poor and very poor. And the reason why is because we want to be getting the best interest rates from the best lenders, the top tier lenders. This is going to help us when we make applications for cars and home loans and business loans and things like that we might need in the future. Later in this video, I'm going to explain exactly where you need to go to check your credit report, and I'm going to give you 4 different areas that you can go, and all of these are for free. So let's get into the 12 factors that can harm your credit score. Number 1 is a history of late or missed payments. 35% of your credit score is based on your payment history, so being late with your credit card payments is going to impact your credit score a lot. But if you are late, make sure you make that payment within the next 30 days because that's the cut-off window for when the credit reporting agencies will get notified that you've made a missed or a late payment. To preserve your credit score, make sure you pay your bills on time. The second one is going over your credit limit or just maxing out your credit cards. Over the limit credit card balances are really going to impact your credit utilisation because you're going to be at 100% credit utilisation. So if you've got a credit card with a £5,000 limit and you spent £5,000 on it, you're maxing out your credit card limit. So what you'd be better off doing is having 2 credit cards, each with £5,000 limit on them, and using £2,500 across the 2 of them. Therefore, you're only utilising 50% of your credit limit. If you're getting some value, don't forget to smash the like button, as this would really help out my YouTube channel and I'd really appreciate it. Thanks. The third one is defaulting on your credit agreements. This means that you've not paid back the money that you said you would do. A default on your credit report will show that you've not fulfilled your end of the loan contract and you've not paid back the money that you've owed. And this is going to really impact your credit score because no one's going to want to lend money to someone that doesn't pay back the money that they've been lent. Number 4 is bankruptcies, insolvencies, and county court judgments on your credit report. Bankruptcy is an extreme measure and will devastate your credit report. County court judgments will stay in your credit report for 6 years, even if you've paid them off. After 6 years, county court judgments will no longer appear on your credit report, even if you haven't paid it all off. If you do get a county court judgment and then pay it off within 30 days, you can ask for that to be removed from your credit report and therefore it won't be staying on there. Number 5 is making too many credit applications in a short period of time. There's hard and soft inquiries that can be applied to your credit report, and these hard inquiries, which is when you've gone forward with a credit application, will stay on there for 2 years, but the amount that they'll affect your credit report over time, it kind of diminishes in the impact that they're going to have. So if you had a good track record with making on-time payments, with revolving credit, it's not going to be a big issue for you. And checking your credit score is just a soft search. That's not going to impact your credit score in any way at all. Soft searches don't impact your credit score. Number 6 then is joint accounts with someone that's got bad credit history. If one of you has poor credit history, it's a good idea not to open a joint account like a joint bank account. As soon as you open a joint account together, you're co-scored, and that means your credit ratings then are linked together. Number 7 then is frequently withdrawing cash from your credit card. It can put off prospective lenders because they'll be seeing cash withdrawal on your credit report. Not to mention it's going to cost you more money in fees and higher interest rates with taking those cash advances in the first place. Recent withdrawals are going to look bad to prospective lenders, so make sure you don't do this type of thing just before you're looking to apply for some credit. Number 8 is errors or fraudulent activity on your credit report that you've not detected. If you do find an error on your report, it's important you dispute that error with the credit report agency as quickly as possible, and contact the provider or the creditor that the error is associated with and ask them to get it off your credit report as soon as possible. Number 9 is not being on the electoral roll. Being on the electoral roll will help validate your identity, prove who you are and the address that you live at, and this will help positively impact your credit score. Number 10 is moving house too often. Lenders are spooked by change, and a decreased credit score generally happens when you move home, and it will take a while again till your credit history builds up at that new address and your score will start to level up again. Number 11 then is cancelling out zero balance credit cards, and this is because credit utilisation is an important factor of your credit score. It's going to help with your overall credit card utilisation because you're not using any of that credit, and it's also going to help towards your credit history when it comes to how long you've had credit and your access to that type of credit. The length of your credit history accounts for 15% of your credit score. So cancelling out older credit cards that you might have had for a while is going to potentially impact that because they can't see the credit history associated with that card anymore once it's been removed. Even if you don't use the card anymore, if there's no annual fee, it's best to keep the card open even if you don't use it. Number 12 is transferring balances to a single credit card. Now, a lot of people might want to do this to take advantage of a 0% balance transfer rate on one particular card, but it's actually going to impact your credit utilisation rate because you're moving a lot of your credit limit to one particular card. And if you cancel your other cards, this is going to really impact your credit utilisation. So it's best to keep all your cards going and not transfer a high amount of your credit to one particular card because it's going to impact your credit utilisation amount and ultimately impact your credit score. So I said earlier in the video that I was going to give you 4 ways that you can check your credit report for free. Now, if you haven't guessed by now, it's so important, if you haven't already, to go and check your credit report and check your credit history to make sure that everything on there is accurate and being reported correctly against what you're doing with your credit. So to go and check out how you're actually performing right now and what your credit score is, you can go to any of these 4 places. The first one is Experian, where they'll give you a free account where you can understand what your credit score is with Experian and what your credit history looks like with Experian. Another free service is provided by Credit Karma. Now, Credit Karma is free to use and they've got an app and a website where you can just log in and check your score, and they'll give you notifications if your score changes and things like this. But it only uses the TransUnion credit reporting agency. Then we've also got Equifax. Again, this is free, but it's only free for 30 days. Where you've got a free 30-day trial. Then there's another website called Check My File. Now this is free for 30 days. After that, there's an ongoing monthly subscription fee. But Check My File covers all the 3 major credit reporting agencies that I've mentioned here today. So I hope that these 12 things that can harm your credit report has been helpful to you, and you can take them on board and use them to positively impact your credit report going forward and your personal finances. Thanks for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you've enjoyed it and watched it all the way through, please consider subscribing if you haven't already. So I talk about property, investing and personal finance. Feel free to follow me on Instagram and see what I'm up to over there, and I'll see you next time.